Hey there, what's up everyone? My name is Rabbit. Welcome to episode 114 of Let's Play Jade Cocoon 2, and I have quite a few things to end up sharing with you guys, but before we get into all of that, as a very brief recap, we ended up revisiting the level 1 islands of the elemental forest. So what is it? Earth erosion, fire spy, and Windbound, I think? Yes! Guys, my memory is not totally trash. So we visited with the folks whose storylines are basically centered around each of the elemental forests, respectively. So we chatted with Wu and Nam. It was an interesting conversation. It was probably the best out of the three that we ended up having. Wu actually addressed some of the concerns that we ended up learning from the dark version of him, or from his soul or spirit, if you want to word it that way. So that was a bit insightful. Nam didn't even realize that the shit had been locked up and that he had been trapped in the forest, so he didn't have too much to contribute to the conversation. Kokona was a little bit bitchy, which is strange because our interaction with her in the dark Earth Forest revolved around her low self-esteem and her feeling like she didn't actually contribute to the Sweet Nights, yet going back in the forest and making sure she was okay in our last episode, she just was very standoffish and not too warm. I don't know, it seemed a bit out of character for her, and the conversation was awkward. Then the last conversation, technically the first, because we visited this one before the other two, was with Gil, and his was okay as well. He didn't really reference anything that took place in the Dark Wind Forest, but he did at least say thank you, and the others didn't express much gratitude for what we as Kahu had actually done to free them from their prisons. So with all that being said and done, we are ready to go into the water forest, the dark one specifically. Hopefully once we are done with that, we'll have the opportunity to come back and visit the level 1 island / I guess forest, the water one specifically, so that we can chat with our girl Cure. So I'm assuming she's the one whose spirit is going to be clouded by darkness, and that we'll have to deal with. So that is number 1, our recap. Number 2, I want to share with you guys some things that I ended up picking up from Kiki Knack & Co. without you. Nothing too spectacular. I grabbed 1 citron powder and 3 resurrect books. And as far as the Kokona shirt is concerned, I didn't end up selling that because when I checked our little storage section, we did not actually have the shirt for her. We had shirts, I believe, for all of the other Sweet Nights members, but not for Kokona. Instead, the paraphernalia that we had was, I believe, a fan. So I decided to hold on to it. It is worth 2,000 yen, but as you can see, we are fine on money. That is not a concern of mine, so I'll just hold on to it for now. And I think that's pretty much it. Let's go ahead and get this party started and make a beeline for the water forest. Hopefully it's not too crazy and complex, although I have been itching for new water calma. We've got a few people that I would like to eventually rotate in that I think would make great healers. Ooh, can I get this, Walter? I don't know if they're gonna count that. They did. Hey guys, look at me go. So that's pretty much everything in terms of off camera and a little bit of a recap. So as for other things, I was telling you guys in our last episode that a lot has transpired in my life, which is why I hadn't updated this in a while. If you follow me on Facebook and Twitter, you should be fairly up to date with my life and sort of the craziness that has ensued. I would say really it's been mostly the last 3 weeks that have been a tad bit nutty. I will 100% update you guys on everything, so pull up a seat. Hopefully you have a cup of tea. I also noted this in our last episode that my voice is just doing its normal thing. You guys should know by now, unless you're joining me for the first time and this is the first video you've ever watched of me. In that case, I want to start by saying welcome. Thanks for watching. But I also want to point out that I tend to just have a very raspy, hoarse voice in general. I know a lot of people are always wondering, you know, Rabbit, did you used to smoke, or are you a present smoker? No, I've never touched a cigarette. So I don't know why my voice sounds like this. It's always been this way. Even when looking at home videos and movies of when I was just a little teeny tiny tot, I just always had a very rusty, grating, hoarse sounding voice. I don't know. And I feel like I'm prone to, I wouldn't even call them colds because I don't really experience other symptoms, but I have a tendency to get a hoarser or more hoarse voice than other people, it seems. So it's one of those days for me. My voice is not in 100% tip-top shape right now, but I am sipping on tea, so that should keep me from needing to cough or clear my voice too much. So as for things that have been going down, I mentioned this in our last episode that I did move, and we moved a very big distance, 1,000 miles. Well, I think it's more like 970, 960. Basically, we ended up leaving Colorado for a number of reasons. You guys are well aware that that state was just not really working out for me, nor was it working out for Andrew, my husband. And I shouldn't say that the state as a whole is not good. It has a lot of positive qualities, especially the city we were in. It was very safe. People, for the most part, minded their own business and did their own thing, but I don't know, the culture of it was just a bit off for me. I didn't feel very welcome. I don't know. We didn't really like the area we were in. In retrospect, I do think that if we had it to do all over again, and that is to say before we had moved to Colorado, I think we should have chosen like 2 or 3 different cities before the one we ended up moving to. That town in particular was just a very bad fit for us. It's great if you want to raise a family. It's phenomenal, actually, if you are looking to settle down somewhere and you want a place that's safe and you don't have to worry about your kids walking to school or riding their bikes. It's a very bike-friendly area. Everyone's very mindful of, pollution. Everyone's very forward-thinking when it comes to the environment and health. I mean, everyone was fit there. I'm in very good shape, I would say. I'm not at all overweight, and yet I was probably one of the biggest people there. Like, everyone was very tall and thin or lean and muscular. And I'm short and muscular, but I guess you could say I look very squat compared to the other people there. It was just a fit town, which is great. Like I said, it's wonderful if you're raising a family or just looking for a place to settle down with the intention of eventually raising a family. So I think there's a lot of value in that. But if those aren't your goals, what is this guy doing? I just need you to turn around so I can get you from behind. Oh, yeah. But if those aren't goals that you have laid out for yourself, then it's kind of a waste, if the culture doesn't really align with your mindset and mentality and people are I don't know. It just wasn't a good fit. Let me just leave it at that. So we ended up looking at some places that had great universities because Andrew, he's in the final state, I would say, of his whole thesis process. So he's currently eyeballing some doctoral programs, which is wonderful. I'm very proud of him. And I think he's looking at 2 schools here in Wisconsin, which is where we ended up moving to. And so we just figured, let's just try something new. Even if next year, he decides, I don't want to go to Wisconsin, he ends up picking a school in, let's say, Maine or, I don't know, fucking South Carolina. That's fine. I'm okay with moving again, but I just needed a place that wasn't Colorado. I was just so ready to get out of there. And again, we both acknowledge that maybe we could have just moved to a different town in Colorado, but I think we both just needed a total change. So we packed our shit and drove the 16 hours from our town in Colorado to our new place in Wisconsin, and the trip was interesting. We had visited a while ago. I also had posted some updates. Oh my goodness, look at all of this, you guys. This is kind of a hot mess. We're not going to open that yet. We had taken a quick trip here. I don't think there's a way to get around that. Oh, haha, you see the moves, you guys? I am killing it. So we made the trip over here. Ooh, when was it? I think it was 2 weeks ago. Sorry if you guys can hear the phone in the background. It's my husband's alarm. He always sets it but then leaves it out here so he can't even hear it when he's sleeping. That's just how it goes, right? So I'll make sure that I turn it off between this episode and the next one. Anyway, we visited and we really liked the area. There was a lot more diversity, which already is pretty nice. It's something that I think we both were needing as well. The area we were in was just very homogenous, which normally doesn't bother me, but it led to a lot of very strange conversations, and I think people were just very weird about it. And not in like a hateful, racist kind of way. I mean, you guys already know, I lived in Arkansas for a very long time. Like, I did my master's there, so I was there for 2 years, and I went to high school there as well. So the timeline of my life, and yes, I realize I've moved around a lot. Don't ask me why. I don't actually like moving as much as I do. I'm ready to settle down in the next 1 to 3 moves. I swear, like, I want to get a house. I want to pick a place and stay there, but it just hasn't really worked out that way for me quite yet. So I went to high school with my husband in Arkansas. So I was there for the last 3 years of high school, and then I moved to Kansas to do my undergrad. So I was there for 4 years. Then I moved back to Arkansas, but a different town, for my graduate program. So I was in this different area of Arkansas for 2 years, and then we moved to Colorado for my husband's graduate program, and we lived there for 3 years, and now we are here in Wisconsin. So it's like every couple of years, you guys, we just pack up and move somewhere new. And that's okay. It's not really ideal, but it's not the end of the world either. So, nevertheless, we're here. He's looking at schools, and we like it a lot. There are some things that are worse than where we were previously, but there are a lot of things that we're already enjoying. So, coming back to what I was saying about the diversity, since it was a very homogenous area that we were in Colorado, people would say really weird, insensitive things to me. As you guys know, my husband and I are in an interracial relationship, and I don't think about things like that. If I can say one thing as a compliment to myself with this channel, it's that I do not use my ethnicity or nationality as a crutch. You know, I am me, and I view myself as a human being, an earthling, if you will, and I try to conduct my channel that way, where it's not race-centered. You know, I feel like anyone can enjoy the videos that I put out. It's not targeting a specific demographic, at least in terms of race or nationality even. Like, I try to keep it open so that people from Australia, the UK, France, Germany, even Japan can watch me and find the content relatable. And that's intentional, you know? I don't want to be one of those people that's like relying on one aspect of myself to be my entire identity. I don't think it's necessarily wrong when people do that, because there's comfort in that, right? You know, seeing someone who looks like you, or who talks like you, or is from the same country as you, or you know, speaks the same language as you. There is a lot of solace in that, and I get it. But I kind of want to be that person that anyone can relate to, and everyone can feel like, oh yeah, I totally get what she's saying. Even if we come from different backgrounds and have different perspectives on this, I understand where she's coming from and what she's trying to express. So that's always been my goal. So race, ethnicity, nationality, whatever, has never ever mattered to me. I don't care where someone's from. I don't care what language you speak. I don't care. Like, it doesn't matter to me. I love you for who you are. If you're an asshole, you're an asshole. It doesn't matter what color your skin is. If you're a nice person, you're a nice person. I don't care what your religion is. But not everyone is that way. And while some of the areas in Arkansas where I lived were very hateful, and that was obviously, hey, I'll take that, and that was obviously not good, Colorado has its own prejudices in a different way. Like I already said, it was never I was never in a situation that was hostile or that made me feel not safe or uncomfortable in an extreme way. But there were scenarios where I almost felt like, why would you ever say this to someone? Or I just felt like people didn't really think before they said certain things. So I was just ready to be somewhere where people weren't necessarily as ignorant. I guess that's the thing. There was a lot of ignorance where we were living in Colorado. It wasn't necessarily a strong bigotry or hatred. It was just closed-mindedness and people not knowing what was going on. It was not working out for either myself or my husband. But here, it is very diverse in a surprising way. I wasn't expecting it. I guess I thought most of Wisconsin would be kind of like Minnesota. And in a lot of ways, there are some cities and neighboring towns that are that way, but everywhere we stopped and passed through on our way here was pretty laid back and pretty cool. And I have to confess, I feel much more at home here already in the week that we've lived here compared to the 3 years that I was in Colorado. I just felt like such an outsider, and again, that's okay. You don't have to fit in everywhere you go. That's part of life. You need to learn to adapt, and you know, if you can't adapt, then find a way to cope until you can be somewhere that is better for you. That's kind of how I've always looked at it, you know? Like, I don't expect, oh my God, did I really just pick up a calabash herb? Y'all, I might need to just be running around here just to grab shit. Because, okay, these are great things for mixing with eggs and just nice things to have in general. Although I wonder once I'm done with these areas if I will unlock some more items. I'm thinking that will be the case. So that's the princess vine. I'm waiting for Kalma. We haven't run into anything yet, but our haul has been nice. So that's something to celebrate. Please move out of my way. I'm trying my best not to fight all of you. Damn, did we really not get anything out of this? Game, are you serious? Well, there was another princess vine for us to inspect, so I almost wonder if I should just leave here. I checked out everything that I can. So that was the... Okay. The princess vine that we took, is this guy really gonna fuck with me? Yeah, fuck you. Alright, let's just end by fighting this guy. I need to decide, do I want to run back and take a different princess vine? Do I want to follow this one? I think we should go back. I'm thinking that's going to be the best call. But anyway... So yeah, I've absolutely felt infinitely more welcome since we've moved here. Everyone's been pretty laid back, pretty chill, and not necessarily more friendly, but I would say more authentic than I felt like the people in the area of Colorado where we were living happened to be, or at least the way that they expressed themselves upon initial introductions. So that all is great, but oh my God, you guys, when I say that the move itself was a bit of a bitch, I'm not even exaggerating. I don't have time to really give you all the details, but let me just start off by saying the drive here ended up being a pain in the ass, and then once we arrived, I ended up, before we even got the key to the apartment, okay, we literally pulled into the driveway. My car ended up breaking down, which was terrible because this was over the holiday weekend. We got here on the 2nd, and as you guys know, the 2nd was Friday, and then the 3rd was Saturday, and was the 4th? No, that's not true. The 2nd was Friday, 3rd was, no, the 2nd was Saturday, the 3rd was Sunday, the 4th was Monday. I think that's correct. Anyway, it was a holiday weekend because it was the 4th of July weekend, and that meant that we had to have a nasty little delay before I could even get it fixed. So I had to wait till Tuesday, but oh hey, I start work on Tuesday. And it's 2 miles away, so guess who ended up walking all last week, her first fucking week at this new job. Oh my God, you guys. I will give you all the deets in our next episode, but consider that, what do they call it? The teaser reel? What is that called? Do you guys know what I'm talking about in the news? It's like not the chat wheel. I think it's a teaser reel or something like that. Anyway, there you guys go. That's the heads up of the conversations to come. So our move was a bit of a bitch, and the first week was a bit of a bitch. Things are calming down now, but I will explain all that to you very shortly. So thank you very much for watching. Off camera from you guys, I'm going to do a bit of selling because I have a lot of extra shit. Nobody, at least I'm assuming nobody, is at 20 yet, so we're still pretty much good to go with this team, but we'll probably have to do some arranging fairly soon. So yeah, I will keep you guys up to date when we come back in our next episode with everything that has happened without you, and I'll basically bring you back after I've cleared the first area of the Dark Water Forest and we're ready to take a different Princess Vine to hopefully one of those dead end areas that will allow us to encounter some Kalma. I guess we'll find out. Thanks for watching. I'm your host, Rabbit. This is my Let's Play of Jade Cocoon 2, and I'll see you very shortly, my loves.